Hello, welcome to the Paulcast. We have an extra special edition today, and we have my special guest, Danielle from Danny After Dark, and lucky enough to have some people very close to her. I'll let her explain who they are and why there is a haunted house behind me, which I'm terrified of.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is a very, very special episode. So today we have the privilege of interviewing my uncle and my aunt, Ken and Memie Watson, and they have been very involved in exploring the hauntings at the S.K. Pierce Mansion. Mansion.
Wrong show.
Mansion.
Yeah.
In Gardner, Massachusetts. They have a lot of experience in this field, and we have some great questions for them and things to dive into. So without further ado, Ken and Memie Watson.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. And you guys?
Good.
Excellent.
Doing pretty good. How's my hair look? Good?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Perfect. So I'm wearing my Ghostbusters shirt, but contrary to this shirt, I'm absolutely terrified of ghosts, which is why I don't think I've ever seen one.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I actually grew up on a 10-acre property that had an old Doukhobor cemetery on it. And the Doukhobors were an old, sect of religion from Russia. And so one day someone showed up on our property and was like, "Hey, my dad's buried in your backyard." I was like, "Yikes, go ahead and take a look."
I was like, see you later, bye, right?
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into it. Danny, you want to start us off?
Yes. So you guys are getting some love in the chat already. So I guess just to start out, so who are you guys and what do you do and how did you get involved with the SK Pierce Mansion?
So the SK Pierce Mansion, we got involved with it almost 9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It was a bucket list, how we were introduced to it. My sisters invited us to do a ghost hunt in an open forum, and so we went, and it happened to be the SK Pierce Mansion. And one thing led to another. We became close friends with those current owners, and just one thing led to another between the paranormal, and I ended up doing most of the interior restoration within the mansion over the last 4.5 years. So we're very much involved. I'm the historical curator of the mansion.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we oversee paranormal events, and we give tours, and Mimi's the psychic medium of the mansion.
Wow. So when you guys went there to take a look at it to see if, just to check it out, and did something happen right then, or were you it was a little bit back and forth, you decided you wanted to fix it up and then stuff started happening?
Before, yeah. The first night we were there, we had ever walked into the place, we had so many things that happened paranormal wise. It was incredible.
Like what?
Well, for instance, while we were being given the tour before the actual investigation began, in one of the rooms we heard two women speaking, but there was nobody in the room.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
we sent you some EVPs, right?
You did, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was listening to them. I've got them queued up. If you want me to play any of them. I also have the pictures queued up that you sent me. And there was the first two, you can really hear the spirits. And the second two, I think you'll have to let them know what they're saying, or just see if people can just pull it, see if they can hear it.
Yeah.
But I can just go ahead and play this right now. The first one's my favorite though.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So here's the first one. Now, did you? I love that. As soon as I heard, because I didn't see what it said first, and I heard it, and I was like, "Did I hear that right?" It was the response is amazing. I'm gonna play it again, see if y'all can hear it, and then we'll talk. About it. So if you guys didn't catch that, they asked if you liked their red room, and the spirit said it's weird. That's my kind of spirit. That's awesome.
So the story behind that is before the current owners, the previous owners, prior to who owns it now, Edwin and Lillian, just before they sold the house, they gave us their bedroom set that came from a red room in the mansion.
Right.
And it just so happens when we put it into our bedroom, it was red also. So we were just sitting at our kitchen table and just put the spirit box on, and that's the response we got when we asked if you like our red room.
Oh, that's funny. So that was at your place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
the mail came out and said it's weird.
I have a feeling it's our ghost man. So we have a ghost man here in our house.
Okay.
And I met him when I was, he scared me when I was around 5 years old.
Oh, wow. So you've been in that house a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe grew up in this house.
How old is that house?
Early 1950s.
1915.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But he used to stand in the doorway when we'd go to bed, and I'd be like this with the blanket because I didn't want to see him.
Oh, yeah.
And when I told my mom, you know how they think you are.
Yeah,
And one day he was trying to get my attention. I was walking by and a pencil came flying at me, and I missed every single step on the way down.
Oh my God. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, my mom wasn't too happy with me with the hole in the wall, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Hey, if a ghost throws a pencil at you, how you react isn't going to necessarily be like, catch something.
No, years later we accepted it. So
Yeah, he's still here.
he doesn't cross over. He hangs out.
So
The spirits of the haunted items we brought into our home too.
Like what type of haunted items?
A mirror, a
Easel.
chair, an easel, a doll.
Yep.
Interesting. And does it, with bringing those things into your home, does it have has any of them been negative, or is it just been a positive thing because you kind of know how to be like, hey, here's your new house, you guys are chill to be here?
Completely positive. Yeah, no bad experiences with spirits within our home or the mansion.
Right.
And with the S.K. Pierce mansion, there's 12 spirits in that home.
12.
Yes.
And a cat.
And a cat, yes.
A ghost cat or a real cat?
A ghost cat.
A ghost cat.
The ghost cat's name is Putty.
Well, that's what we call them.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Wow. So, okay. What was so both of you, did you separately get into talking to spirits and ghost hunting, etc., or was that just how you guys came together?
No, I've done this for many, many years. So I'm a Reverend High Priestess in the Cabot tradition of witchcraft.
Okay.
So I've been doing this for over 40 something years.
At least 45 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, Ken met me. And we started to, by hanging around with me so much, he started to develop his psychic skills, which is pretty cool. So he can now hear them, and he has a sense when they're around, and he can feel them touching him. So it's pretty cool, some of the stuff that's happened there.
Yeah.
That's neat. And does it take, so then Ken, does it take a little bit for you to get used to something like that, where it's, there's a ghost touching you right now, and is that a jerky thing at first, or is it just fine?
I've never been afraid,
Right.
per se, of the interaction with them. At times a little stunned, like, what was that? And then I go, oh, okay, that's what it was.
Right.
Because within the mansion, with all those spirits, there's nothing malevolent or evil in there.
Right.
Unless, of course, if you provoke or treat them in a certain way that you shouldn't, as if I were to treat you in a, rudely, they can interact in a negative way if you present yourself that way and try to communicate by, provoking.
That was something I was going to ask as well, is a person's interaction with a spirit dependent on how they are, or what they've got going on either in their lives or how they interact with the spirit in general.
Yeah, and I know it's our belief with spirits. Why are they there? There's some common beliefs. Tragic death. They don't know they're dead, possibly. They're so attached to a place they just don't want to move on. Or they have a sense of not accomplishing what they wanted to in the physical world, so they don't want to move on. With the mansion, I think a lot of it is not so much tragedy; it's more of an attachment. They don't want to let go.
Right. Well, that's a beautiful house.
You said there's 12 spirits there. Can you briefly discuss a little bit about each of those spirits, and maybe if you have an idea of why each of them are there? I know you said kind of hanging on.
Let me give you a little bit of history of the place, and that will help
please
understand when I start talking about a few of them.
I can show a picture of the house as well. So
yes.
Oh, that's not right.
So the house was built in and completed in 1875 by a gentleman by the name of Sylvester Pierce. Extremely successful chair manufacturer in Gardner, Mass. Third most successful real estate mogul. In his lifetime, he bought over 170 pieces of property. And he was also a farmer that had a herd of cattle. To give you an idea of his wealth, when he passed away in 1888, he left three people $100,000 each. His second wife, his first son from the first marriage, and a nephew. And in today's money, that's $2.2 million.
Wow.
That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. And so he presents as one of the spirits there, which kind of would make sense. He invested time and money into that home. And he lived in the house that previously stood there. Before this was built, there was another home, very modest home. And when he had his wealth to a point where he could build this, he did. His second wife, Ellen, is also one of the spirits.
Okay.
She died in the house. He and her both were waked in the home. There's records of the certain, we go to funeral homes to be waked nowadays.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Area, they actually had the waking hours in their home.
Oh, interesting.
Passed away, yeah.
Well, if they love that house so much, then I mean that's kind of jackpot if they get to stay there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just get to be in the place that you love forever. That's great.
And it's funny, when I got hired to do the restoration by the new owners, Rob and Allison Conti.
Yeah.
During that process, they were committed to restoring the house, not remodeling it. And you hear stories of when you start changing things or doing things in the house, some negativity comes out if there's a spirit attached to it. That never happened. If anything, the activity picked up in a positive way.
Right.
I see footsteps in sawdust that was left behind, or I had staging up and I'd get off the staging. All of a sudden I hear a little pitter patter footsteps going on the staging, the aluminum staging.
Wow. Holy moly.
That kept following us around. I was just his gopher. He did all the restoration. I did all the gophing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think you're restoring, right? You're not doing anything like gutting the house and doing something to it. So that would be like you're putting the same sort of love into that house that they did, I suppose.
Yes. Yep. So consequently, being in there over all this time, we've had many experiences, from being touched to full apparitions. As I am looking at you, I've seen two apparitions, one of Ellen, the second wife, one of a child 2 years old. Her name was Rachel, and she was one of the Pierce's son's daughters that died at 2 years old in 1916. And then a lot of shadows are seen in there. But it's interesting because we get disembodied voices. Two examples. We were carrying a piece of wood up to the third floor. All of a sudden, I was leading the way. A man said, "Good morning." And I said, "Good morning." And Mimi said, "Why'd you say good morning twice?" I said, "I didn't." The other time was 3 months ago. The most recent was 3 months ago, and it happened twice in 1 week. We were leaving the mansion. Only one's there. Mimi was shutting the door, and all of a sudden, the little child said, "Bye, Mimi," out loud.
Oh, wow.
That happened twice in 1 week.
Danielle, you have to come visit. You and Chris.
I have visited a few years ago for your birthday.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
You'll have to go there. We went to a place in Scotland, me and my wife, that was the home of my grandpa, my great grandpa, and my great great grandpa. And my wife asked me if I wanted to stay there, and I said, "No way. That's how horror movies start. Not at all." But they kept everything nice in there. There was the same banister, same small window above where my grandpa's little shoebox room was, and yeah, it was neat. It was neat to see. So I can imagine how you get like really into doing something like you're doing.
A lot of times we'll get like we'll smell the sense of the spirit that's in there. Like Ellen, Ken's favorite spirit, the second wife. You'll get a scent of her perfume.
Right.
One of the gentlemen, you'll smell cigarette smoke or urine or something like that,
Or
because
alcohol.
or alcohol, because he had a little issue.
Yeah.
You'll smell cigar on the third floor. You'll smell apple pie downstairs. So there's a lot of different, things you'll smell.
You'll
and
experience
see.
a lot of things there.
Interesting. Yeah. So does it have simultaneous, like, does it go after your senses simultaneously, or is it like you smell something or you hear something or you see something?
Right. And it doesn't come in, immediate sequence. It can be quiet for a week there. And then
Right.
it will be, you'll hear footsteps and doors shut, and you'll have smells and see shadows, and then all of a sudden be quiet again. So there's no rhyme or reason. And contrary to what you see on TV, everything happens after dark. More things have happened to me in all the time I've been there during the day.
Interesting.
And that's when I saw 2 apparitions were during the day, disembodied voices during the day. And you think about it, they lived their life during the day and slept at night. Not to say that things don't happen at night, they do. But I've had more experiences during the day.
And at nighttime, it's quieter, so you don't have to hear all the traffic. So that's why a lot of us investigate at night.
Yeah, the sound is subdued.
Yeah, well, especially for those things you guys are using are picking up like everything, aren't they? They're like white.
I was about to say, you said is it called a voice box?
Yep. Well, we call it a spirit box.
Spirit box. Sorry, spirit box.
It.
For those who don't know what that is, can you describe what that is and what it picks up?
It's basically white noise. So what it's doing, it's actually scanning through radio stations. Now you can go AM or FM. There's controls that do different settings on the box, and it scans at whatever rate you set. So it's like and every you're going through a radio station. So the pickup a full sentence would be isn't coming from one radio station. There's no explanation other than a spirit problem.
Yeah.
If you follow me, because in that, if they say 3 words, like one of the things I think we sent you was, do you want to play pool with us? I don't think so. It probably went through 10 to 15 radio stations during that time.
Yeah, let's play that
as well. Here we go. Is that Dad House Father's Day, I think?
No.
No, that
Oh no, I know what that one is. That's my other favorite one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the other one. There we go. Okay. Awesome.
I'm ready to play pool. Would you like to play some pool?
Do you hear it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Very
It's soft.
Very
you have to
soft.
look for it.
I'm going to turn it on again, and I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So just be warned at the end. It might get a little loud.
I'm ready to play pool. Would you like to play some pool?
I hear so really, really loud. That's interesting. Holy moly. And that was in the mansion. That wasn't in your house.
No, that was at
that's
the
a
mansion.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And what's funny about that question was there was a billiards room in the mansion when it was initially built. Mr. Pierce had a billiards room on the 3rd floor, and that's where that question was asked, in that room.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Oh, wow. And was there a pool table in there, or you just said you want to play pool?
No.
There was a billiards table at one point.
But not when you guys were in there asking the
No.
question.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the mansion, all the chandeliers and the furniture that the Pierces owned, the next owner after the Pierce family owned it for a number of years, and then in 1999, that current owner was selling the house, and she had an auction company come in from New Jersey. Unfortunately, they were unsupervised, and they took everything.
Oh,
They stripped the whole house. So they took built-ins, and they took the billiards table, all the
Plans.
furniture, all the dishes, everything. Was
dang.
taken out of that house and sold.
The house plans.
Yeah, the house plans, even
Oh no.
house plans, everything. Yeah.
Have you been able? Did you guys like redo the house plans, or have somebody come through and redo it, or is it just kind of that's one of those unfortunate things that's lost now?
One of those unfortunate things. I do have a picture, not a very good one, of the original plans.
Right.
The picture was taken back before the auction, actually. So it was 1997. But it's not a good view of it. So yeah, it's lost.
Right.
Unfortunately, the original.
The only original thing that's actually there is Ellen's safe, because somebody ended up buying it and they couldn't get it out because it was too heavy. So they want their money back, and the safe still stays. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, you saw
Is
that.
any of
Dan.
her belongings still in it?
No.
No.
But I did figure out the combination, but I can't tell you what it is.
That's how. Can you tell us how you figured out the combination? Or are you
No,
just a very
I can't
patient
I can't
man?
tell you that either.
Oh, oh, awesome.
I have a question. So you said at the mansion that you haven't had any negative interactions with any spirits. Have you guys, either of you at any point, ever had a negative experience with a spirit? If so, how did that go?
No.
I never have.
No.
Wow. Other than Mimi saying you jumped a little bit when you were a little kid, and there was a dude standing in your doorway.
Yeah, that. Well, look how young you are. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to say to my mom, "Mom, is Dad standing in the doorway? No, he's down here. Now what's the problem?" So then they think you're crazy, so you don't say anything. You just keep your mouth shut.
Right. Right.
Well, the other thing I didn't mention, the reasons why they're here, but because they haven't crossed over, they haven't really, they're in a in-between plane, I guess you could say,
Realm.
or realm.
Yeah.
They retain their personality, it's believed. So
Right.
if you had an angry person during life, they're probably going to be an angry spirit. And you may get some negative things that way, or, just things you wouldn't want happening to you, but
In between
Right.
worlds, you can call it too.
yeah.
Interesting.
But like the little child, the 2-year-old in the mansion, she'll come up and tug your pant leg. Happens to a lot of people doing investigations. She attaches herself to one of the female, not to bring home, but she kind of just walks with that person throughout the whole investigation a lot of the time. As a mother figure, she picks up on, or whatever it may be, and they'll feel a little tug on their pant leg, or if their hands are down, they may feel a slight, like a little touch on their hand, gentle touch. So, yeah.
And they were good enough to send us some photos of her. Paul, do you want to pull that up?
Yeah. Were those the second ones? Yes. Hold on.
I
get everything in order.
So Rachel is SKPS had 3 sons, and 2 sons in the second marriage, and the youngest one, Edward Pierce, was born in the house and lived in the house his entire life. And this is his second child, Rachel.
Is that in the girl in the window, or the form in the window?
No, I think it's the green photo.
The
Remember
green
she
one.
circled?
Yeah, got him. All right.
Yeah, down below.
And actually, in this picture, there's actually 3 spirits.
Okay,
I know
so
of 2. I don't know the
each one
third.
of those.
So right
Dark
near where your
spots?
arrow, right there, that's Rachel.
Yeah.
And if you blew it up a little bit, you could actually see her. She's running around the post there. And then on the stairway, if you look at the ball, you'll actually see a figure standing there, almost very proper.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Almost like a butler, and it's believed there is a spirit of a butler in the house. And then if you blow it up, right there. Nope.
This one here, yeah. Okay.
Yep. You blow it up right where the circle is on that post. You almost see a face, like with a goatee.
I see it.
Oh, yeah.
No, I've taken hundreds of pictures during the restoration over the 4 years, and I've never caught any of this ever again, just this one time. And if I was to show you an old picture of Mr. Pierce, that's a splitting image of him, the face.
Whoa. That's wild. Holy moly.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with in there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Did Danielle send you the one of Rachel all of a sudden standing behind Kenny with a little gun on her head?
Yes.
Yeah, pull that up too, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so
Yeah, and as he pulls that up, tell us the story about what happened with that.
So it was the end of the day. Mimi was there, the manager of the mansion, Marion Luoma, and Rodney Barr was there, a friend of ours. And we decided to put on the spirit box and see what happens. So they were standing on the first floor, and I was standing on the landing, of going up to the second floor. And if you look at the picture to the left, there's actually more stairs that go up to the second floor. And we had the spirit box on, and we were just seeing if Rachel wanted to speak to us. And then all of a sudden, we heard footsteps coming down to the landing from the second floor to where I am. And I said to them down on the first floor, I go, somebody's standing right behind me.
You had that cold breath coming out.
But I didn't feel
But you
cold.
couldn't see anything, Mimi.
No, because
Nope.
I was too busy when I heard the footsteps. I'm like, click, click, click.
She took the picture. She took 3 in a row, and she caught the manifestation of Rachel.
And that's
coming.
her apparition right there. But you see the bluish purple light above? That's just from the window.
That's a reflection.
That's a
that's
reflection.
what yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. So you can see she kind of is just running upstairs.
And look at the cute little bun. Isn't
And
that
if
cute?
you look,
Yeah.
bring it back to the other picture, previous, you can see between the rails, you can see the back wall,
Yeah.
and then bring up the next picture, and some of it's blocked out, like somebody is actually blocking out the back wall.
Whoa.
So at the same time, we asked Rachel on the spirit box, we said, can you say hi to Marion? Can you say Marion's name? And I don't know if Mimi sent you that.
She did. Yeah. I can get that too. All right. Hold on a second.
Yeah, the response was incredible.
Yeah. And that one's a lot clearer to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
this is-
a really good one.
We played
Okay.
around with audio before you guys came on.
Yeah. Hold on a sec here. Okay. Make sure that it's all good.
You say hi to Marion? Can you maybe say her name?
Marion. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. But
Yeah, let's
we'll
play
do-
that again. So they ask the name and there's like 10-second pause, then she says Marion at the end.
That's the spirit box, yeah.
You say
Yeah,
hi to
start.
Marion? Can you maybe say her name?
That
Wow.
was so cool.
That's so cool. I was on a walk by myself and I listened to that and I was like, oh shit. Oh, that's amazing.
The
It's
other
neat,
one
the
that
little cadence too. Is that from it flipping through channels and it using the airwaves, or is that just the cadence that she spoke in?
That's just that's the white noise.
Yeah.
And then she almost speaks it with personality, like Marion, like she with expression. She almost said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
and one of the ones we sent you was at Ken's father's house because his mom passed away. We were trying to get in touch with her, but that wasn't the mom. That was his uncle.
Oh,
let's
that's
play
so
that.
funny. Okay, yeah, let's listen to
That
that.
was a
one.
little bit harder to hear when we were playing
You
around
didn't
with
hear
it, but it,
it there.
when I first heard it, I was like, wait, did that just say what I think it just said? That was another one of those ones. What the heck? Yeah, okay. Here's this one.
All right, Bob, are you here?
What?
We didn't get bleeped out.
You didn't say that. Somebody.
That's all right. I gotta play it again just in case you didn't catch it. That's awesome. That's if I'm a ghost, that's what's gonna happen, unfortunately.
All right, Bob, are you here?
I thought it said
It said the F word. It's like
Oh,
only
that's-
we're here.
does that happen frequently where you try to communicate with one spirit but a different spirit comes through?
Yep, that can happen.
Sometimes nothing will happen. It depends.
And there's many forms to communicate, not just through the spirit box. There's physical ways of communicating. One is table tipping, which is a physical medium.
Right.
With Mimi's abilities, just the psychically, doing the mediumship.
A lot of
Ouija
psychics think that, or when you're doing the table, it's the physical mediumship, and the psychic is the one like you're doing a seance. The spirits come to you and you talk, but the physical mediumship is the table moving around or tapping and walking across the floor. So that's pretty. And then they spell out the letters, and then it's a long process when they start spelling out stuff.
Do you know what the table tipping is? Do you want that?
No.
No, yeah, please explain it. Yeah.
So it's been around since the 1800s. There were two sisters that pretty much it became famous for. Very popular in the Victorian time. So basically, it's a heavy table, usually three-legged, works best. And a group of people, depending on how big the table is, it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 people can sit around there, and they hold their hands on the table very lightly. And you do like a trance kind of talk down into a meditative state.
Yeah, alpha state, yeah.
So then you try to create an energy that the spirits can grab to move an object with their energy also. What happens with the table and why it's called table tipping is because the table actually tips. When you direct the spirit how to do it, and a lot of the time they understand, and you'll ask to lift up one leg if you want to respond to us, and the table will actually tip and then come back down.
Or can you give like Marion? Can you give Marion a hug, and then the table will tilt towards Marion? This is pretty funny.
But
Oh, wow.
so what happens? They can actually tap, just continually like tap, 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 and each tap represents whatever we designate it to be, a number or a letter of the alphabet, and they can spell words and actually do direct communication.
Wow.
And we've done that many times in the mansion with validation of some of the information. We've been able to validate what information we receive from whatever spirit.
But when we call in the energy, we always have the spirit of the light, because we don't want anything negative coming in at all, even though nothing negative there, but we don't want anything to come in. And I always cast a circle to protect everybody.
We protect everybody. Everyone's protected, and nothing
So
bad.
Is that so when you're saying you're casting a light around it, so are you doing something ahead of time preparatory that does that?
Yes.
Is that do you want to explain that, or is that just something that you do?
No, he starts out with spritzing everybody with frankincense and myrrh and sea salt, and then he cleanses the table as well.
With a pendulum, yeah.
And then I'll cast I'll visualize a white light, and I'll cast a circle around everybody, so we're always protected, and that way the circle can't be broken by anything that wants to just pop in. It's like a big shield.
Interesting.
It's a lot. It's about a 20-minute process to do it.
Wow. And then that's
we do it that way.
Right. And then that's when you can start.
Yes.
Is after that. Oh wow. Do you do that much in the mansion? Sorry to cut you off.
We haven't done it in about a year or so. Once in a while we'll do it, and it's just like there'll always be me, Kenny, and Marion, and one girl used to be on the table with us, Tina.
Yeah.
But I mean, the three of us would be usually the ones that will do it, and we'll have a couple of other people join us.
But we taught classes on it too. To show you the validation, one time we did it, and the table actually tilted over slowly to the floor and this is the second floor where Ellen's safe is, and actually slid across the floor into the safe.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Backed up and hit the safe again, and we stopped the table tipping, and the previous owners were present. And we're looking everywhere, like what is we think it was Ellen on the table. What does she want us to find?
Yeah.
This girl Tina is looking over the safe behind, and I'm looking under, and she saw two little dice. That would be children's dice, I guess. That had a hole in it so you could bead them, put a string through them. and she knocked them out. And prior to actually Ellen or the spirit had spelled out the letter S and the letter O before the table actually slid over. And on the dice, one was the letter S, or the other one was the letter O.
Oh, wow.
And directly below the dice, because the between the floor and the baseboard, there was something a little bit shiny, and I picked it up. It was a skeleton key that the owners at the time had no idea was there. It was full of cobwebs. And we got back on the table and asked where this key, what door it fit within the mansion. Now, there's 58 doors in the mansion, and they all have their separate skeleton keys. And there's numbers on the doors on the second, just to give you a background, second and third floor, because it was a Victorian inn, a bed and breakfast back in the from like 1937, and then it transitioned to a boarding house and a rooming house. But there's numbers on the doors. So we asked what number or what door that key went to, and it was tapped out 9. So it tapped 9 times and then stopped. And lo and behold, that's the billiards room where we got that EVP, and that's the only door in the house that key fit.
Interesting.
How do you explain that?
No way.
It would not fit another door because we tried.
Interesting. Wow. But
why we were led to find it, I have no idea. But
yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I guess it's sorry, my brain's just jumping all over the place. So when you're making contact with spirits and like that sort of thing, is that something that they want? Is that some sort of like, that's a moment they get to interact, or is that something where it's like, ah, shit, someone's knocking on my door? Like that.
Nice way to phrase that, Paul.
I think they communicate on their terms.
Okay, that makes sense.
Force them to communicate. We can only hope that they want to share something with us.
Sure.
Some people. Go ahead.
Oh, I think the best way or most successful way to communicate is to know a little bit about them, their history. Like with the S.K. Pierce home, the more you know about the history and the people that are in there, I think the better interaction you are. In other words, you know they're there, so why would you ask the question, "Are you here?"
Right. Yeah.
Why don't you ask, like, Mr. Pierce, more personal question, did you drink coffee in the morning? Get more personal and they may become more interactive.
And the same with the children. Back then, they didn't call the children kids. So you'll hear people say, children, "Where's the kids?" Well, they were always called children.
Right. So they wouldn't understand. So do you think that because you're interacting with them, they don't learn that kids is a term for children? It's always just, you're just interacting with them as if you were in the same time as they are.
I think they kind of adjusted the language that we have, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, we told them things have changed since they were things are a little bit more, we tell them.
They're a little faster now. They're a little intense.
He set up a museum in one of the rooms because every time he was doing, like tearing down the ceiling to redo it, there would be a sack up there. So the owner,
or something would be found, or something we weren't going to reincorporate, I would set aside. And I set up a little museum area in the parlor so people can just view some of the items that there were.
So people are able to come and tour it now.
Yeah, if it's set up privately through the S.K. Pierce Haunted Victorian website on Facebook, and they just have to personally message Rob Conti, and he can put them in the right direction for that. It's $15 a person. Either Marion or myself, usually Marion Luoma, the manager, or I give the tour. It's usually an hour and a half, depending,
Wow. Yeah.
We encourage many pictures for people to take lots of pictures, as you can see why from some of the pictures we've captured.
Right.
Yeah, let's actually pull the pictures back up, Paul, because there's a few that I want to go over with you guys.
Okay.
I know one that I wanted to specifically go over, Paul, is the haunted mirror. Yeah, right there.
That's
yours.
Ours. That's in Mimi's girl cave.
my magic room. That was given to us by a friend, Temple. Her house is haunted and she was selling her house. So a group of us went over there to investigate. And I'm like, why is that mirror way up there? Because I guess she had a lot of experiences growing up to the point where it started to scare her. So she said, put it up there. I don't even want to look at it. So she goes, do you want it? We said, sure, we'll take it. So she's wrapping it up really fast. I'm like, don't you want to say goodbye? She goes, bye. And she just kept wrapping it.
Well, one of the experiences she told that she had when she was in early teens, I think, was she was walking by the mirror and you would see a 3D image, like on a baseball card or something. It was almost like a face came out and then went back in.
Whoa.
And what we've experienced with it, if you stare at it for a few minutes, it actually turns into presents itself like liquid, like water, like it's not solid anymore. Like you can put your hand through it almost.
I think I sent you the picture, Danielle, of Kenny called me into the room and he was like shaking hands with me. And I just got out of the shower, so I had a towel on my head. Did I send you that one? The stick figure?
Yeah.
No.
The stick figure? Yeah, this one?
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That comes from, they call it a Connex.
SLS camera, which is pretty much a Connex. It picks up on it. So if you look at Mimi, you can see her body, but she's actually a stick figure too.
Right.
A spirit, you wouldn't see the body. All you see is the stick figure. And there's no explanation for why that's there. It shouldn't be there.
And I call him the man in the mirror.
So we're asking questions, and I said, "Can you touch Mimi's hand?" And actually, this isn't the video, so it doesn't show it, but the video does. He actually straightens out the arm that you see on the left on the picture,
Right.
to Mimi's hand, and Mimi felt like a tingling in her hand at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If you don't notice, I'm in my pajamas too.
See,
There you go.
That's okay.
you're gonna have to do one of these spirit investigations and experience some of this.
Oh man, yeah. If I can ever make it out to Boston, I'll definitely do it. I mean, I'll be terrified and I might cling to one of you like a cat, but other than that, it'll be all right.
We'll put you in the middle. We'll have Kenny, you, and me.
Yeah, I'll just be like,
And I'll just follow from behind taking pictures.
Well, a lot of times people will come out there and they want stuff to happen. Well, I don't see anything. Why isn't this happening? It's just because they want it so bad. You know, you have to be relaxed when you come in. You have to be open-minded.
right.
Upbeat and good upbeat, good attitude. You'll have an amazing night there.
Have you seen people come in thinking one way and then leave thinking a totally different way? Maybe they weren't expecting to see something or hear something and did?
Yep, that's happened. We've seen in one particular area in the mansion, we've seen several times men walk out of that room bawling their eyes out because they feel the emotion that is for some reason attached to that room.
Oh,
They feel
wow.
it's sadness, despair, and it
Right.
affects them. Some people aren't affected, but some people are. We've had, because it's an old Victorian, you think of the times, the 1800s, and there were servants' quarters within this house too. But you think of the ladies' quarters, men didn't just walk into the ladies' quarters.
No,
So
right.
we always tell men, before you walk in, whether subconsciously or out loud, however you feel comfortable, you should say, "May I enter your room?"
Right.
Because actually men have entered the room without asking that, and they felt very unwelcome, and they felt they had to leave immediately. Like
Right.
spirit didn't want them there, and happens to be a female spirit within those areas mostly too.
And one guy came in and he asked if he could come in, and he heard no, so he says, "I can't go in. I have to stay out here." And that's what he did. He didn't go into his room. She didn't want him in there at all.
Yeah, that was a disembodied voice that said no on that one. Like
Wow.
you were out loud.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't go in either. Yeah. It's all you guys. I'll be out here chewing my nails.
You sure you want to go by yourself?
Is the goal of the Mitch ever to have people stay there overnight, like almost rent it is that the goal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right from the time of when he purchased the home in 2015, his goal was then and still is to open it as a bed and breakfast.
Wow.
And it's been a little bit slow moving. I mean, it took 4 years to restore the interior. Mary and Mimi and I, we talked, and some other people. It was probably within 2 or 3 years of being condemned before the current owners bought it.
Okay.
It was in really deteriorating shape.
Sure.
And like I said, the current owner, he came in very good spirit about the place, and very uplifting, and committed to restoring this place no matter what it takes. And he's done that.
Oh, that's
We
awesome.
a few more things, and we'll be open as a bed and breakfast. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Is there a timeline for that, as far as you know?
Whenever the city says so.
Yeah, he's just got to
Okay.
do a few more things with the city. So.
Yeah, well then that's one of those things. Permits, enough said.
Building inspector, enough said.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Was it one of
Those
the-
are make or break.
Yep.
One of the
Mr.
nights, I wanted to share with you that when the previous owners had us over, and they said, well, we're going to go, you guys want to spend the night? We're like, sure. They handed us the key and they left. We're like, well, where you going? They're like, we're going to the hotel. You guys can stay here.
They wouldn't stay there.
Oh wow.
So
Have they stayed there to date or still no?
no, they sold the house.
That was the
Oh.
previous owners.
Previous, sorry.
Yeah. So we stayed in the red room.
Mhm.
And we could hear footsteps and touching of our toes, couple shadows, and then we heard a big bang out in the hall. And then there was a physical fan that you actually had to turn the knob. It shut off. And so, what is it, 6 hours?
Yeah, we had this a recorder, because another way you can communicate is through digital recorder.
Okay.
You can capture things that way. And if anybody or anyone in your audience knows, with like all these shows, they do a lot of EVPs.
Mhm.
So we had that running during all this time in the second floor hallway, and I listened to it and reviewed it the next day, and there was probably 4 hours. The only thing that was on there was within the first 2 minutes, and it said, "Wake them up."
We were up all night.
And we were literally up all night.
Yeah. Holy moly. No kidding.
Yeah.
No need for coffee at that point.
And
So
we had,
you-
Maybe and I, we've been very fortunate, and Marion, because it's also sought out by a lot of these paranormal groups. Over the years, Ghost Adventures has been there, Ghost Hunters,
Mhm.
a lot of different haunting, paranormal, all the different
Yeah.
paranormal shows. But we've
I
been
was
in,
just about to say, you guys have been on multiple TV shows. If Paul, if you want to pull up some
I
of
have them written down right here. Most terrifying places in America.
Yeah.
Chronicle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Afraid of Nothing documentary.
Yeah.
Yep.
LGTV and Netflix.
Yep.
Afraid of Nothing podcast. The
Mhm.
Beacon podcast. And 2 separate podcasts for Air One Radio.
Yeah.
Yep.
As well as it says here, you were interviewed, Ken, by Jerry Seavey, the Candyman professional wrestler.
UWF, yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yep.
So
And
how
you
did
do-
sorry, Paul.
I was just going to say, so you do lectures as well, and for museums and historical societies.
Yes.
And that ties into your book as well.
Yep. So my book is about the genealogy, direct genealogy of Sylvester Pierce, who built the home, and also talks about the mansion itself, his factory that he owned, and the only documented tragic death to date within the mansion. The reason I started it 2.5 years ago, because there's so many rumors of things that occurred in the house.
Mhm.
Things get blown out of proportion, and some of it kind of disturbed me. I felt it to be disrespectful to the family that owned the house and the family that's living. Which, as a side note, I've been very fortunate to be able to speak to family, direct descendants of Mr. Pierce.
Oh, interesting. Awesome.
Because of the book.
Right.
They gave
Oh, wow.
amazing information. So my purpose was to put the truth out there about those multiple items that I mentioned, and took me 2.5 years of the research, and then putting the book together, getting a publisher, and now it's available.
Unreal. Oh, that's awesome. Where would they get the book from if people wanted to grab it?
Mimi, she's the agent.
I'm Paul's agent.
I think it's something you guys are far more organized.
It's not available on Amazon or anything. It's private sale, or if you're at the mansion, you can purchase it there.
Not out of the country though, because it's more to
Only
ship
States.
than to buy the book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Phil, I can hook you up with a book if you want.
Yes.
Danielle got an autographed copy.
Oh, wow.
I do.
Does it say to our favorite niece?
Yes.
And then you look at your sister's one and it's like, to our favorite niece. It's like, no. Oh, man.
Just to jump back a second, you said through the book you got to interview some of direct descendants from the owner. Have they been to the mansion?
Yes. No, only one. The one I spoke with. He lives in Tennessee, and he is. Let's see if I can remember this right. S.K. Pierce would be his great grandfather. If I say it, I think I'm correct in saying. Mm-hmm. Great grandfather.
And he came to the mansion.
Yep. Yeah. He came to the mansion, and he
did
provided me with valuable information from the family beyond SKPS, more towards modern day, his descendants and so forth. So, I got a stamp of approval with the book, so that was kind of
awesome.
Nice.
Let me see the book.
Just like an agent does.
There you go. Hold on. We'll make you big for it so people can see it. There you go. Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Right
And on the back is a map.
Yeah, and on the back is a map from the mid 1800s.
Oh, that's awesome.
Of where he lived in his factory. Tough to see on the screen, but
it is. That's a great looking book. Awesome. Was there, so we had,
I just want to jump back too.
Yeah,
and
go
Paul,
for
if
it.
you want to just quickly pull up some of the pictures that they sent from when you guys were on all of these television shows. I just want to ask, because you guys sent quite a bit, how did those opportunities come about?
Wait, is this?
We were reached out to, or the owner was about them. They were all a blast. The one, the LG TV and Netflix was an incredible experience. It was a whole weekend long experience. I don't know if you ever heard of the binge show that LG and Netflix they combined to do binge show watching. I think what was another show on Netflix, The Crown, I think it is. Used to be.
Okay, yeah.
So they would have contestants, and they'd have to write an essay of why they want to be on like the show or whatever their premise was. I'm not really sure, but they did it with a haunting. So they had to write a story of some sort of haunting or why they'd want to go to a haunted place. And the show that was binge watched, they would have to binge watch, was The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, okay.
So, and there were two couples that won. Each spent a night at the mansion. One was from New Mexico, another from San Francisco. They came into Boston not having no idea where they were going when they got here.
Oh, interesting.
All a surprise. And when they walked up to the house, because it's a very imposing house from the picture, as you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they walked in and they found out it was actually haunted.
Oh, wow.
Made the experience even better. And if you've watched Haunting of Hill House, I don't know if you have.
I have, yeah.
They have a red door.
Yeah.
Right? The red door that nobody can ever get in. Mm-hmm. Well, the bedroom they stayed in was the red room.
Oh, okay.
Wallpaper, and that's why it's called the red room. And let me tell you, they both had experiences while they were here. Both couples.
Oh, I bet. Oh my God. I don't know that I'd come out from under my covers.
We had the cameramen from Netflix. They finally came up to us because they ran through probably 4 batteries. I think they had 2 left one night, one evening, and they just draining within 5 minutes. And that happens in the mansion a lot. And they finally came up to us and they go, "Can you please tell the spirits to stop draining our batteries?"
We said, no, this is pretty funny. They're like, come on. Oh, okay. Then they
But it's funny because we say, "Can you please stop that?" And they didn't have another problem the rest of the weekend.
Oh, that's nice. That's funny.
They even shipped up a lot of the props from the Haunting of Hill House from Georgia, and they had them all over the house. The hat, the buttons, the box.
Oh, the statues, they brought everything up from the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Paul, we do have pictures of that if you want to pull that up.
So that is, all right.
I think that's closer to the end.
That's the last.
Does that mean the hat?
Oh, I have
You in
the
the
hat.
hat.
I have the you in the hat picture.
That's me holding the box and the hat.
That's perfect. Is this from it as well then? Those are the cameramen?
Yeah, they're
Yep.
miking up Kenny.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Was that, I guess that's something else. Or is
Buttons.
that,
All the buttons
oh, wow.
that they had in the show that they used.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And was
I-
this
One of
from
the
the show
statues.
as well? Yeah.
I'm doing my Vanna White. Here's a statue.
You're a natural doll.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. This thing may move towards you tonight.
It may.
Well, one of the guys on the second night, he'd get up to go to the bathroom. He goes, every time I come out the door, there's this statue there, and I keep wanting to scream. He was scaring me. We're like, we know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, one of the contestants, well, both of the female contestants got touched during the night.
And they
Oh,
heard
wow.
something on the third floor. The second night, the contestants, they were woken up by something like rocking back and forth. So we went up and recorded it. And what it was from my friend Temple's house. It was the haunted rocker that a baby would sleep in, like a little bassinet. And we put it up there and that on the third floor. And that's all they could hear was it rocking back and forth at night. We're like, oh, we didn't hear it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
we sit
man.
on the other side.
Yep.
You guys have had some celebrities come visit and get a tour of the mansion as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you name drop some?
Yep. So this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Probably 3 years ago. If anybody's familiar in the sports world with football, the Dallas Cowboys, there's a defensive end by the name of Randy Gregory.
Oh, wow.
And he's a starter. I don't know if he still is, but he was a starting defensive end there. And he was out doing a football camp a few summers back and he is into paranormal. So we got in touch with Rob and we set something up so he and his friends could come to the mansion.
Right.
And so they came and we were hoping it would be some Patriots players, but no, it was no football player. But he was an incredibly nice guy. I think Mimi's going to pull up a picture to show you how tall he was because Mimi looks so tiny compared to him.
No, I made him fall.
But yeah, we gave him a tour and he actually had experiences there, which was kind of fun.
I think it's in the
For him.
ghost folder.
So then after it all happened, I said to him, so next year we're going to have a Dallas Cowboy paranormal night.
Get the whole team in
I
there.
had to think about that, but it never happened.
I thought I
Aw.
put it in this folder. Oh no, I put it in the celebrity folder.
But we've had
Ooh.
different people there. And gentleman by the name of Nick Goff, who is very popular in the paranormal world.
Cool.
Gosh.
Oh, wow.
I'm kneeling down with shoes there. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
that's a sturdy looking fella.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. Well, he was at the portal, and there's a portal at there's two portals.
Well, we should back up. And explain
Yeah, please. What's a portal?
I was getting there.
So a portal is a doorway, a gateway to other dimensions, other realms. It's believed anyway. And there just so happens to be in the mansion, on top of all the spirits, there's 2 portals.
Right.
Which means other spirits can come and go if so desired. It's always an open door, at least it appears that way. The one on the first floor is extremely strong. Usually if people stand on it, they have some sort of sensation or experience. Me, I cannot stop myself from walking when I'm standing on that spot, like as if I'm on a boat in the ocean or a lake, you know how you just rock back and forth, and that's all I do. I go back and forth like that. Other people get lightheaded, other people nausea, other people feel like they're being pushed forward or gently, not hard. Other people feel like they're being drawn down. I say, don't worry, you're not going to go into the hole.
It's not Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Interesting way to get through those.
That's pretty much what a portal is. It's just a gateway.
So tell them about Randy Gregory.
Oh, so Randy Gregory, one of his experiences wasn't with him, it was with his buddy. And he was standing on the portal, and it was absolutely no breeze, nothing that would cause this other than something supernatural. He was wearing shorts. All of a sudden, his shorts started violently shaking like this.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, Randy Gregory was standing maybe 5 feet away. And he had, you know, being a young athlete, he was in his early 20s then. He had a very heavy chain with a skull, and the whole chain and the skull flipped on him at the same time.
Whoa.
Just independently. He was like, wow, he goes.
I couldn't get my camera out fast enough to take a picture of all of them looking at the guy's shorts going, wow. I'm like, I wanted to record that one, but I couldn't get it out fast enough.
Oh, man. I bet it just happens a split second, too. If you don't already have your camera out, you're done.
Never seen that happen again. That was the only person I've ever seen that happen to. Everybody else has more subtle experiences there.
I was trying to find
So
you said there were 2 portals and you just described one. Where's the second one in the mansion?
3rd floor, just in the billiards room, just outside the closet. There's a closet.
Does it have the same sort of effect or do different?
Not the same sort of strength to it. Not
okay.
Yeah, it's not as strong. You can, if you're sensitive to things around you, and most people are, and they can kind of pick up on the energy that's there with it. They go, oh, there's something here.
Right.
Some people will pick right up that it's a portal. Other people just feel the energy like something's different in this room.
I was trying to remember what I was trying to find.
The portal? What does it have to do with the portal?
No, I was looking for some of the people that were there that were like Jerry Seavey, the Candyman.
Oh, yeah.
That interview that he had where Kenny was. And so, you know, sometimes you forget to put them in the right folder, like me.
Well, when you're celebrities in this, you know, in this area.
It's something
I mean, even getting notes from you guys for this interview. I mean, I knew when you were on Most Terrifying Places in America, because we all watched, and that was amazing. But I wasn't aware of all of these other things you were on TV for. I'm like, why didn't you? You guys are so humble.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we don't really.
That's where I get my humble, Paul. It's from them.
Oh my, no, they took, holy moly. Is she?
Danielle's very humble.
She's very humble. If we're doing opposite day, we're batting it out of the park. I love it. Like, don't forget to say how good I did on this thing. I was like, okay, I won't.
Yep.
Oh, that's
So
so
in
awesome.
regards to any other celebrities coming to visit the mansion, I mean, it's a secret, but I'll say it. So Paul is a huge Bruins fan. Have any of the Bruins come to the mansion?
This is a large point of contention.
Not us.
Not during our time there that we can recall. No.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness for
Sorry. Although I will tell you, Mimi used to babysit for several of the children back during the day of Terry O'Reilly.
Oh,
They
wow.
lived in the Danvers area where we live in Beverly right now, but I grew up in Danvers, and they were like Linfield, Danvers, Boxford, that whole general area.
Right.
Mimi babysat for a few of them.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah.
Tell people that.
She's like, you don't tell people that.
I mean, well, it's funny too, because like everybody ends up living close to somebody. There's the Niedermeyers are a big name in hockey, and a woman that I knew, her doctor was his dad. It was like a small town, so she's like, "Oh yeah, we knew all the Niedermeyers," and they just all took off because their dad's still my GP, like all this stuff. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Danielle, would you like to? We can have some questions from the audience. We usually do our audience Q&A. Danielle's in charge of that because She wants her TV time. She wants her screen time.
But she's so humble.
Exactly. It's like be in the background being like, you better get me on here. And then she comes on, she's like, hi, Paul asked me to do this. It was really putting me out, but I'm here to help.
Well, I mean, I had sent Mimi so she was aware of our Manson Saga discussion panel, so she got to watch a little bit of it. So she knows how
She knows how humble you are. Yes, perfect.
She knows how humble.
Yes, like the
She knows the off-camera Danielle.
the pictures of Danielle, posing next to certain things at, in California.
Yes, the family vacations. We don't want to talk about that though.
I've told Paul about some of those. So Trekker asked, yes, the Haunted Mansion is in Gardner, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's open it up. If anybody has any questions, please type it in the chat, and we can definitely make sure to ask Mimi and Ken. I just want to make sure one of our other co-host on our Manson Saga discussion panel, Mr. Beckham, I know he couldn't be here. He's away right now, but he did type that he wants, when it's open, to stay over. He's in Texas, but he wants to come out and he wants to stay.
So we'll be there instantly.
He'll be like one of your first people.
Well,
put his name on the list because apparently there's over 2,000 people waiting from all over the world, from Germany, Australia, obviously in the States, and so forth.
So
why not get in?
He better message him and he better message the owner saying, can you put me on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, because I want to stay. Oh, dang.
Oh, well.
You get let in the back door, Daniel.
You have an in.
We've slept there by ourselves before, too.
Oh, wow.
Penny and I were doing work. We slept there. And then he usually slept there a lot because he'd have to be there the next morning early.
Yeah, I'd be there 5 days a week back when it was really going strong. I'd sleep there multiple times by myself. And I usually slept in the red room, which was Ellen Pierce's room. And I'd be sleeping there one night, and all of a sudden the mattress bounced. Somebody jumped on the bed, and the next thing I felt was a pressure on my back for about probably 20, 30 seconds. And I'm just laying there on my left. Of course, I didn't roll over to see who it was, but I was like, okay, that's never happened before. Mimi says, likes to think that Ellen was spooning with me. I don't know if that's true.
Well, dang. Marion has commented now, Ken, there's now over 3,000 reservations.
See?
Oh,
there you go.
Holy moly.
Marion, that's the mansion. She's the manager of the mansion.
Hi, Marion. Yes, I met Marion.
Really good friend of ours. Yeah, you met her at the party, birthday party.
Yep. The birthday party you don't remember me going to, but yes, I was there.
So that kind of answer.
See, I'm so humble. They just didn't know I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trekker's, I think you were a little late in, but he asked if you have seen any apparitions, which you guys have.
Got spooned by one.
One I didn't talk about, just for Trevor. I was there by myself one day. I locked up the mansion, and I was going to my car. And I just happened to look up at the mansion on the second floor at an area where the nursery is. And as I looked up, the little girl, who we believe is Rachel, in full apparition color, looking down at the yard or me or the car or something. And then she was there maybe 5 seconds and then gone.
Paul, can you pull up the picture? Remember the second picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I do want to ask who's in the picture in the window.
I took that in the morning. We had breakfast across the street.
Do you have the close-up on that one?
That might be. No,
that is the close-up.
Is there? That was the only one I got of that.
Yeah, there was like
a window. It looks like there's a figure standing in the window on the second floor.
It does. I wish I could make this bigger.
Some people feel that it's actually two. One might be an adult, one a child, or maybe just one person. Not really sure.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, I posted it on our site, and I said thoughts because I wasn't going to say anything else. And I think it was 99% of the people said, "Whoa, that's a woman."
I think
And a child.
I think also what should be stated now too, and I think everyone in the paranormal world really practices this, is to try to debunk everything you have,
Right.
because there are explanations for things. So you want to look at every aspect, every review it very carefully before you start claiming something.
Mhm.
So there's hundreds of things that we've never set our name to because it's too easy to debunk. Even if we
Right.
think it may be even true, there's just too much question there, so we usually don't even post it. We just put it aside. So the things that we do post, we've had other people look at it. We've looked at it very carefully, and then
Right.
we feel comfortable putting it out as being unexplained.
Yeah, we send them to people and say, what do you think? And then they'll say, well, no, because of this. We're like, okay. And some people have done it to us. And one lady sent us her picture, and I said, well, there's camera shake. And I said, there's no lights. And she got very upset with me because I was explaining every little thing in the picture, and that's not what she wanted to believe. And I'm like, well, okay.
Right. It's you have to leave yourself open to have stuff like that, right? Otherwise it's
And it's common in the mansion because the walls are not the original walls. There's a wave to them, or the original glass that's in the windows.
Mhm.
If you see an old glass, it's not clear like modern glass. It has a wave to it, so you can get what's called a matrixing, and your eyes can see something that's not really there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you can look at the glass and I can see a face, but it's not a spirit. It's just the way the glass is presenting with the shadows at that time and stuff like that. So
Right.
a lot
To
of-
me,
a lot
this
of
could be
people-
two faces for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't see that until you guys pointed that out. I saw the figure of one
Well,
person.
tried
because
to
there's
blow it
one
up,
right here,
no.
and one right here. Is
With the
what I-
point of view, it's better to see. And we felt comfortable putting that one out. We had multiple people look at it. So
yeah.
Trekker had asked, is this near the Lizzie Borden place? Well, so Lizzie Borden house is in Fall River. So offhand, do you guys know how far Fall River is from Gardner?
Well, Gardner is just almost next to Fitchburg and Lemonster, and that general area. Fall River, I think that's up more west. I think.
Used to take
Yeah,
years to get there.
that'd be several hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been there.
From where
I did. I went in October.
From where we live in Beverly, I mean, it takes us an hour and 10 minutes to get to Gardner. It's off of Route 2.
Oh yeah. That's a good question, Danny. The next one there by At My Spirit World.
Excuse me. Let me do that. What's the one thing that you keep hearing about the S.K. Pierce mansion that you can say is a lie?
The Red Room closet.
Through my research, until I see documentation otherwise, there was never a brothel. It's been stated in a brothel. There was never a prostitute rape murder. I have found no evidence of any records to validate that.
Poker game.
And the other big one is the poker game. Mr. Pierce, Edward Pierce, the last Pierce to own it, lost the home in a poker game, which is totally incorrect. Because Mr. Pierce and Mr. Stemmerman were actually very close friends, because Mr. Stemmerman's sister-in-law worked for Mr. Pierce as a living housekeeper. And he actually, and just to briefly, so people understand that, Mr. Pierce was going to lose the house to back taxes to the city in 1965. And Mr. Stemmerman, who had helped him out a number of years financially, stepped in and under the table gave Mr. Pierce $35,000, and on the deed, Mr. Pierce put in that the house was granted to the Stemmerman family. And that's how the transaction happened, not a poker game.
Oh,
Interesting. So little grains of truth that they just skew to the side, right?
Right. And with the research, I was actually able to talk to a member of the Stemmerman family and to confirm all this and
awesome,
and so forth. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so people are that's three things right there that the misinformation that's out there.
Well, you'll hear some people go, well, I on my EVP, I heard somebody breathing heavy. It was like, well, Ellen was really sick before she passed away. She had what?
She had
Cancer?
carcinoma, which also became pleuritic in nature also. So she had chest pain. She had difficulty breathing. So where people feel that, and could be residual, what's called residual feelings people are getting.
Right. Have you guys heard much about the there being lots of like supernatural activity around limestone quarries or places that have a high deposit of limestone around them? I've heard it's because it's such an energy conductor.
Yeah, it is. I haven't done much with that. I wouldn't feel, confident really, touching on that subject. So
fair. Okay. Awesome. Anything else?
Let's see. Just a comment. I'm sure there's more from fake psychics.
Yeah, probably. It'd be one of those things where it'd be super tough to be legitimate, or to be legitimate in people's eyes with stuff. So it's really good that you end up like looking at something under a microscope before you put your signature on it, where there's lots of other people who are just like smack the wall behind them and go, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had.
It's funny, we have, because we've been around so many groups that have come in and investigated and just been in there, as Marion too, and many mediums and psychic mediums come in, and they all have, their own things they pick up that's happening in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because when multiple mediums pick up on the same thing over and over and over again, you kind of tend to, I feel comfortable maybe telling that story a little bit, because it's things that are unknown. They're not in research or anything. There's no way to prove it, but multiple people are coming up with the same.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to rely on the evidence of multiple people, or your sources. Like if a few people say it, then it's like, okay, well, that's more likely what's happening than not.
Yeah, and it's more of a pickup on the spirits that are there, not really the history of the place. It's more the spirits themselves. So,
right. Well, that's awesome.
Ken, do you want to show your book one more time, just for anybody that's interested?
We'll make sure the link's out there at some.
Yeah.
We'll
Mimi can get that to me, and we can get it out.
I'm not doing very good showing this, am I?
No, not really.
Oh, it's great. Don't listen to her. She's so negative. She's always like, "Oh, you don't have any notes for anything." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just wing it." Oh, sorry. There we go.
Oh, there you
You're
are.
so good at this. Here we go.
I thought you went into the portal for a minute.
I did almost. I do find myself off balance quite a bit.
Oh, we have a comment at my spirit world. I got my signed copy.
There you go.
I'm trying to figure out who is that at.
It was fun back in the fall and before Halloween, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
September. I had a book signing across the street from the mansion. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, I have a question. Does Halloween have anything to do with activity at the house? Have you been there lots? And is that actually where like the veil thins, as it were?
It's one of the times the veil thins between the worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be more active during that period.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
We get to hand out candy with Marion.
Yeah.
Some of the kids will, and of course, Kenny. Did I send you the picture of Mortimer?
Of Mortimer?
Did I send you a picture of the dummy?
Oh, I didn't send that one.
No, you didn't send it.
No.
No.
We have a mascot ventriloquist doll called Mortimer, and he could appear anywhere in the mansion. You never know.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we
have a lot of
kinda
fun
like,
with him.
Oh, that's right.
funny.
People will be driving by. It's a main road that the mansion's on. I'll be in the window hiding. They can't see me, but they see the doll, and the doll is like going like this.
So this is him.
Oh, no.
Bring it.
Oh, God.
There we go.
There he is.
And we put him all over the house, as people are investigating. They'll come out and he'll be sitting in a chair right in front of them.
Mimi, at my spirit world is Lewis.
Oh, jeepers! How could I? Sorry,
I'm Lewis.
Sorry, Lewis. I keep looking at AT, and it's Lewis is a good friend of ours. He's
Yeah.
a spirit medium. He's phenomenal.
Oh,
He's
nice.
worldwide.
Oh,
Yep,
nice to
international.
meet you, Lewis.
He has his own, he does a live Facebook, and he does readings and different things. And he had me on a couple of times, and I couldn't get
Cool.
on at all, but
No.
we just laugh at each other because it's entertaining, and his energy and my energy is like boing.
Oh, I'm
that's
sure.
awesome.
I know your energy, so.
Well, if Lewis, if you would like, on the comments of this show, once we put it up afterwards, if you'd like to leave your link in there, that'd be great, and then people can check it out.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. One more comment with Lewis, because
Sure.
he's had this gift since he was born, being able to see and communicate. And sometimes I know he doesn't view it as a gift, but he can actually see spirits as we look at each other. And he can communicate.
I wonder if that would be, is that like if it's that physical, could you tell the difference? Is there some sort of thing that's different enough about the person in the room that he's not just like talking to a random person next to a person who's an apparition and talking between the two of them, and the one person being like, "Who are you talking to?"
Now that's when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
wow.
He managed to overcome all of that.
But he's a very, very gifted person, because he helps out a lot of people connecting with lost ones and that may have messages, and very gifted.
Yeah, I call him the crying medium.
Yeah,
because I told him you always have to carry tissues with you, because he'll see somebody and go up, excuse me. And he tells them this whole different, starts telling them all about their lives, and they just start crying hysterically.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I want to connect with Lewis.
You want to cry hysterically? I don't want to.
There's people I would love to connect with. So,
Oh, of course.
He
Yeah.
made me cry the first time I'd never met him. We just talked on the phone. And then the first time I was at my friend's house, and he calls up, he goes, "Is she there?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "Is she there?" Mimi. He goes, "I didn't tell him you were coming here." And I'm like, "I don't know." So we talked for a bit, and then he said, "Have her call me." And then I called him, and he started saying all these things, and I'm trying to drive. I had to pull over because
Oh man, if I was ever to talk to somebody like from my family that was gone or whatever, I would love to talk to my grandpa. One time I just Googled his name, because it's one of those things where it's like, I'll see what happens. And I found he was in the Holocaust, and I found a 3-hour interview with him in a university. And so I was able to hear his voice, and apparently he just sounds like my dad with a really, really thick Polish accent. So it would be neat to speak to him again, because when I was a kid, all I knew about him was he was just like my funny grandpa, with a weird tattoo. And then when I get older, you kind of get the heaviness of it, and be able to actually ask poignant questions other than, "Where's the candy?" But that's awesome. Yeah, that's neat, Lewis. That's as with everything, I guess there's two sides to it, but that is a lucky thing to be able to do that, and for people, because that can be a real sticking point for some people.
bring a lot of closure to a lot of people
Yep.
Yeah.
and answer questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, that's
Mimi,
awesome.
Kenny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for doing this. This has been enlightening, even for me. And I grew up with you guys, but like I learned so much from this.
Our secret life.
Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I had to pull that up because that's wild. I've always had a very big connection. I named my my one boy after him, and so it's always that name I feel like should be out there. Should just keep going. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'm going to shut this down, and then we'll be able to thank you again and talk to you later. So thank you all for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See you soon.